Hello, everybody, and welcome to Music Industry Insights Worldwide. Today we're joined with Skye. Hi, Skye, how are you?
Hello, I'm fab, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thanks for asking. Do you want to tell the listeners a little bit more about yourself, where you're from, and what you do?
Of course. So I'm a London girl. You'll be able
Yeah,
to tell from my very
yeah,
Cockney accent. Um, and my name is Skye, and I call myself the creative industry wingwoman.
okay,
Because what I do is I help creative service professionals, whether you're freelance or a founder, business owner,
yeah.
and I help you build your business in a
Great.
way that works for your creative mind.
Okay, that's really, really important. How did you get into that? How did that come about?
From quite a few disasters in
Okay,
the creative world. So
yeah,
I actually started my career in the music industry. Started out as an A&R, then management, PR, sync as well. And I noticed as I was dabbling as well within, say, branding agencies, different types of creative worlds, that the same patterns kept on coming up. Very much so where the exact same mistakes that the business owners were making
yeah,
were turning lights off for good within the company.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I've taken all of those lessons and my own lessons as well, because I've proudly flopped
That's
for
good.
businesses in the creative space.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've just taken that and I've now designed a business model around that to help those to not make the same mistakes that I've seen and I've made myself.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important. Actually, you've had that experience and you've obviously been in the
Yeah.
industry, so you know what to look out for. So, what are the major pitfalls that people might find in the industry, and what can you actually help within that?
It's trying to solve and do everything. That's
Yeah,
the biggest
yeah,
pain point that I'm consistently coming across.
yeah,
And it's just the way that our creative minds are wired because we have big desires. We're very passionate people. And as passionate people, we want to solve all the world problems, don't we? So we
yeah,
try to run before we can walk. So my job
yeah,
is to simplify the what's going on in here in terms of the big goals, the big ambitions, but more importantly, make sure that the business side to it is backed up with that creative element because you need that balance. You
absolutely.
can't just run with creativity and not have the business side to back it up.
I think that's really, really important, actually. And I'm kind of the other way around. So I'm doing a lot of the business stuff, but I want to be doing more of the creative stuff. And I was finding that
Yes,
balance, right? And it's making sure you get it right because otherwise you feel off. You feel like it's not right. And I like to be,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then you feel like you're running around in a circle.
yeah, sometimes you
Then
do.
you don't hit the goals.
Yeah, exactly. So how long have you been in music and how did you get into it?
I have been doing it for about 11 years now. I still have my baby face, but yeah, I've been doing it for quite some time now in the music industry,
Yeah.
and then also just different creative services as well.
And do you find being in Europe is slightly different to being in the UK? Do you think there's a bit of a difference there in the way it operates and some of the issues that you might face?
To be honest with you, it's the same challenges. It's the
Okay.
same stuff that keeps popping up regardless of where you are. Like I said, it's the creative brain and we're wired differently.
Yeah.
But the same mistakes, the same challenges pop up in terms of needing that business element to back up that creative desires.
Absolutely. And kind of what challenges and barriers have you faced? You've obviously talked about some of the issues you faced and you've overcome. So what have they been and what made you change your mind?
Um, do you mean in like in terms of like my own kind of mistakes that I'm helping solve now?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a creative myself. So
Okay.
I'm a musician at heart, I'm a songwriter at heart. And so my brain is wired differently. I have that creative brain. So I have failed proudly for creative businesses because my brain wasn't ready to hold the business element.
Okay.
But the powerful thing is that from all my lessons outside of my own businesses and um, within it as well, I've managed to understand what those mistakes
Great.
were
Yeah.
deeply.
Yeah.
And the important thing is to really ask yourself, okay, why didn't that work?
Uh-huh.
And why did this work? And really dig deep into that. And that's what will help carry you into your next venture and be that one step way stronger than before.
Yeah, I love that actually. And there's lots of highs, there's lots of lows. How do you manage
Yeah.
that as well? Because I think, when we've got creative minds, we're very much like that ourselves. So how do you find dealing with that?
Do you know what? I mean, it's still something I think we're always gonna try and figure out how we
Yeah, yeah,
um, can kind of live with that. But I find that what helps me is always going back to my roots. And I always advise this as well. Keep going back to your roots. Like music's my roots. And I always go back to listening to the tracks that I grew up with. A lot of Madonna on my playlist.
mm,
And just doing the things that inspired you or the memories that you had like growing up where what made you think this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. That really innocent,
mm,
pure part of us. Go
yeah,
back to that.
yeah,
And that's what will not only kind of recalibrate your mind, but also give you that burst of energy and passion that we've kind of lost along that way.
yeah. I think that's great advice. And obviously, we've had a lot of talk around equity, diversity, inclusion in the music
Yeah.
industry. Do you think over that 11 years it's changed? Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? Are we doing a lot of talking?
It doesn't even, do you know what? Like that's it's a big sigh that because I it's hard to tell because it just depends on the environment that you're in. Because when I was working in music, there was a lot of I'm a proud gay woman, and there was a lot of comments about my sexuality in a way where it was like joking to them,
Yeah,
but it's still just it's invasive.
yeah, of course it is.
So, but then again, at the same time, there are other environments where it's so beautiful, and it's like whether there's people that are within the say different kind of background to me, complete opposite, but they still have that understanding.
Yes.
It just depends on your environment completely. But I think always, regardless of the industry that you're in, but especially in the creative world, is always gravitate to want towards the environments where you feel the safest
Yes.
and where you can most importantly be yourself as
Yeah.
much as possible because one bad seed is still one bad seed and that can just set you up in a way where we don't deserve.
Yeah. What would you like to see improve then in the next couple of years? If there was something you could make better in the industry, what would that be?
Um,
Sorry,
there's
all
many things.
for you.
I'd say that the main thing would be um, transparency
Mm,
and
absolutely.
inclusiveness in the sense of, I mean, every sense, but specifically in the sense of, say, for example, someone has an amazing idea that they've put forward. Like, I want to see that person get that credit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a big reason I walked away from the music industry for quite some time because that was like my last straw was I had a boss at the time that I was doing amazing things. I was very, very proud of myself of where I was getting my career. And then I had a boss that was like, oh yeah, we did this, I did that. I was like, no, bro, you didn't do shit.
I've been there.
So
I've been there.
yeah,
Oh, that's
see.
annoying. So it's more like a tick box exercise rather than actually being inclusive and representative of the hard work you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more so like I find a lot of people are saying that
Mm-hmm.
they support XYZ
Yes.
rather than actually understanding what it means to support
Yes.
and ask the right questions and to listen as well.
And did you have a musical education when you got into music? Was that your passion from day one? Or did you kind of get into that through making music? How did that work?
It's quite interesting. I actually I started doing music like GCSE
Yeah,
at
fair.
school.
Yeah.
And then it naturally went into, okay, college. I want to do performing arts, where shy little Skye thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna get on stage. Sorry, I hope it's okay, I can swear on here.
Yeah.
I just said, let me just get on stage, build up my confidence and sing my music and perform on my little guitar. And then it went into going into university where I was doing songwriting music production. But the funny thing is, my passion was always there. But the biggest challenge I noticed is that there was never any modules where the business side was covered.
No, there rarely is there?
Yeah, yeah. And so I took it upon myself to be like, I can see there's a very strong thing that's missing in this industry. And I always knew that that creative balance between creativity and business is very the scales are not very much aligned.
Yes.
So I said to myself, right, I need to figure out how to learn everything I need to know about the creative business world. So I did that, and then my passion grew even more for the creative business side as
Yeah.
well as the creativity.
Cool. That's really good, actually. And obviously, age and cultural differences have an impact on how far we can go and what we can achieve. Obviously, what's your thoughts on that one? Because, we're in multicultural societies. There's obviously
Mm.
people that are marginalized, left out, or they're either tokenized. What kind of can we make sure that we need to be doing better that we're not? And how can we support those people, do you think?
Do you know, I think it's I mean, if I could click my fingers and have one wish, it would be for the world to have more self-awareness, to have those conversations, because I find that there's a lot of people, and I feel like this will always be the case, unfortunately, but there's a lot of times where, say, for example, would enter a room and I just feel like there's conversations that they want to have, but they're not having, and
Yeah,
they're holding themselves back. But I think the most beautiful thing in the world is, say, for example, we walk into a room and it's just that natural flow of openness,
yeah, the vibe.
where like there's no such thing as kind of holding yourself back and saying what you want to say, obviously with respect, but just having that kind of open-mindedness from the get-go, because that energy makes you feel like,
Mm,
okay, cool, I'm gonna be myself. And
yeah,
when you're yourself, that creativity comes through very
but
naturally and
yeah,
exactly how it should be.
which I love actually. And you've hit a great point there. But I also do think there's that balance. Like, if you say something, and I think a lot of people are scared of this as well because I've had conversations. I'm scared if I say something, they're not going to book me, they're not going to want me back. This has happened,
Mm,
that's happened. So we kind of keep it between ourselves. And I think that's the part
yeah,
of the transparency that we actually need to change and make sure that
yeah,
people
yeah.
don't feel that way when they report something or something's gone wrong.
And to touch on that as well, I actually sent out an email to all my contacts about how seeing niching in a different way, because niching isn't just about the role or the industry that they're in, it's also about the values.
Yeah,
So, and for example, say me and you are having a discovery call right now. If, for example, I feel on edge that I can't be myself, I can't say the F word or whatever it might be, I can't express myself, then that means you're not fit within my niche. I'm holding myself back in some way.
that's
But if we flip the switch,
mm,
I mean, as I do, I feel comfortable talking to you and just be myself. And that means, okay, you're within my energy, my circle. I want to see where this can go, whether it's work related or whatever it might be. So that itself is gravitate towards that as much as possible.
100% really good advice. So get that, listeners. And also it's about networking and finding those right people, isn't it? Finding those people that
Yeah.
have the same values and goals, also the same mission. Because I find when you align, then you can actually go way further than you can by yourself because you're all working towards that same goal, aren't you?
Exactly. And you don't know what kind of complementary skills or
Right.
whatever it might
We've
be
got really
can
unique skills that we can bring to the table. That's the beautiful thing about it. And
100%, especially as creatives as well. Oh my God, we're unstoppable.
yeah, I hope so. Sometimes I don't, but I'm like, yeah, you're on the right track. That's the main thing. I've my ups and
Yes.
downs, but it's all good. And
Yes.
obviously, being in music, it's fast paced, it's ups and downs, forever changing. That's obviously affected my mental health. Has it affected yours? And how did you deal with that?
Oof, yeah. Do you know, I find that the music industry is one of the toughest in terms of your mental health. Unfortunately, there's been big losses in the music industry. We have Amy Winehouse, Liam
Right,
Payne, and for different reasons. But when it comes down to the root of it, there's not enough support. There's
right.
not enough support.
Mhm.
And it goes back to what we said about having the right circle of people where you can just be yourself. You can express your most beautiful, light-hearted self, but at the same time, you can express your deepest fears and something that's really weighing on you. Because having your community is absolutely everything.
And it's
Absolutely
about
everything.
building that trust with people. And I think people forget
Mhm.
that in the music industry because it can be very like, everyone's focused on where they want to go. But actually, when you step back and you collaborate, that's when you've
Yeah.
actually those people around you can talk to you, they support you, but they also put a smile on
Mm.
your face when you're not in that mood. Do you know what I mean? Which
Yeah.
I love as
Yeah.
well. So I find it really, really
Exactly.
beautiful. So thank you for sharing that with us. And
Of
obviously, if
course.
you want to connect with you, Skye, find out more about your work, contact you, maybe have some consultations. How could they do that?
So I actually have a workshop
Yeah,
for those that are, whether you're starting out or you're growing your creative world. And it's called How to Grow Your Creative Business Faster Without Losing Your Fucking Mind. It's literally
okay.
worded that
I
as
like
me
that.
to a T.
Yeah,
So I'll share, I mean, you share a link to that.
yeah,
And there's so much value in that. There's a lot of stuff in there of the lessons that I wish I knew when I was starting out. So
it's awesome. And can that be for people in the business as well as singers and songwriters as well? So does that cover everyone in
100%.
the industry? Brilliant.
Absolutely. It's very all-inclusive,
That's
this workshop. Yes, exactly.
brilliant. And is there any major wins or successes you'd like to share with us before you go?
Um, I would say that it ties into this conversation very well, actually. So the more that I have been myself,
Yeah,
found my circle of people, like I said, say for example, we're having that a discovery call, whether you're a potential client or whatnot.
yeah,
The more that I can be myself with that person, the quicker that will turn into a relationship,
yeah,
business relationship, personal relationship, whatever that might be. And that alone has built so much momentum in my own business.
so
And I've been able to grow this business much faster than I anticipated in the most beautiful way. And it all comes from authenticity. So that's also mentioned in the workshop. So I'm going to plug that as well.
yeah, I'll make sure I leave the link for the workshop. Please do go sign up to it. I think I might even go and sign up to it myself because,
Go for it, please.
very, very intrigued. So I'm going to definitely see you again. I just want to say thank you so much for being you, for shining your light,
Oh,
for not giving up and keep going, and for wearing that smile all the way through. That's cheered me up. That's brought the sunshine into my
thank
room.
you.
Thank
Oh, thank you.
you.
Likewise. And yeah, same goes to you. Like, thank you for being yourself. Thank you for inviting me on here. It's really cool. And I love what you're doing. And this will go the distance, I have no doubt.
It certainly will. There's a lot of people that listen. So yeah, we'll get you some people to come on board. I'm sure we will. Thank you
Perfect.
ever so much.
Thank you.
See you soon.
See you soon. Bye bye.